Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on News 2 Week in Review. I'm April Knight. Topping our stories tonight, Delegate to Congress Stacey Plaskett met with federal officials on Monday discussing benefits for veterans in the Virgin Islands. Plaskett's office gathered experts on issues faced by Virgin Islands veterans, from healthcare to addressing veterans affected by Agent Orange while serving in Vietnam. There will be town hall meetings next week for veterans, but we'll keep you updated on the dates on those. Meanwhile, here's Delegate Plaskett.
We just had a wonderful meeting, a roundtable discussion with many of the veterans who have been engaged in Veterans Affairs from our Legion's offices, as well as the clinics. They visited each one of the clinics here in the Virgin Islands and talking about the issues that our veterans have been bringing to us, whether that's non-use of some of the services, the logistics of getting to Puerto Rico, services once they are at the Veterans Hospital in Puerto Rico and how that is delivered to them, issues with prescription drugs, access to care. All of those were discussed and are going to be reviewed by the experts, the consultants that have been hired by Congress, and a report is going to be brought back before March as to what is the best way to meet the needs of the growing veterans population here in the Virgin Islands, as well as how to right the wrongs that have been done to the veterans here. We talked about those veterans from the Vietnam area who are facing issues with Agent Orange and deniability. They're being denied services when they file in Puerto Rico, as opposed to being given services when they apply in Florida. What causes that and how that can be corrected?
We're going to have a Veterans Town Hall, and that's going to be on Thursday, the 14th of December next week, and that's going to be at 5:30 p.m. That's the locations to be determined. We're trying to find a venue. Okay. And then on that Friday at 10:30 in the morning, we're going to be holding the same event in St. Croix with a venue to be determined.
Meanwhile, the Yacht Haven Hotel that may end up getting some $10 million in loans from the VI government came before the Economic Development Commission on Tuesday. Yacht Haven Hotel executives are asking for EDC benefits that would give them corporate and income tax cuts as much as 90% and a full exemption on gross receipts, business property, and excise taxes. In return, they pledged to commit some $30 million in capital investment, employ a minimum of 30 full-time employees, and $30,000 a year in charitable contributions to the community. Meanwhile, the Senate is reviewing a bill that would grant the hotel some $10 million in loans that would come from the sale proceeds of the Lime Tree Bay terminals on St. Croix. That bill may end up in the Senate session on December 21st. Recently, ArcLight paid out some $20 million to the VI government, which is less than the $30 million expected payout. If all goes well, Yacht Haven Hotel would be the first new construction of a major hotel in the territory in almost 4 decades. No decisions yet from the EDC on those benefits. We'll keep you updated. Meanwhile, the Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands released the latest Kids Count report, and it's showing that issues affecting children in the VI are showing stagnation, no improvement. One staggering statistic is that half of Virgin Islands children live in households headed by only one parent, usually the mother. News 2's James Gardner was there and has this report.
The Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands released its annual Kids Count data on Tuesday. Now in its 17th year, data showed that trends over time in critical areas such as healthcare, education, and economic well-being are not improving, but instead staying the same or worsening for children and families in the territory. To illustrate this point, Kids Count project manager at the Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands, which collects and compiles the data with funding from the Annie E. Casey Foundation, tracked the progress of Amelia, a child who is, at 11 years old, is symbolic of many her age in the territory. Amelia lives on St. Croix, like the majority of children in the Virgin Islands, in a 4-person household headed by a single mother. She lives with her 2 brothers, and her extended family includes a grandmother who is taking care of Amelia's cousin John, like 3% of the children counted in 2014, the year this data book covers. According to the numbers, more than half of the children in the territory lives in a household headed by a single mother, while 5% live in a household headed by a grandparent. And like 37% of the territory's children in 2014, the family lives in poverty, meaning the annual household income is less than $24,000. According to Kids Count consultant Judy Richards, the economic stability of many local families have been in flux since the 2008 economic recession.
As time passed, not much has changed to improve the lives of Amalia, John, Frederick, or Christian. As we follow their progress, we're finding stagnation or worsening outcomes with few glimpses of hope.
Richardson, like other speakers Tuesday, challenged the room full of stakeholders listening to the presentation to think about what they wanted for the future of the children in the territory, and what they are going to do to help those goals become a reality. Part of the process is also helping to raise awareness of participating in the 2020 census, which is meant to provide an accurate picture of families and how many people are in them. That data helps determine how federal funds and services are distributed, but during the last census in 2010, some households didn't participate.
And one of the issues with that is that it's so important to have that data because it goes into funding for federal programs like education and health services. And if we're not counting the kids, then funds are not getting allocated appropriately. So it's really, really critical to have 2010 census, especially for us right now, because we know how important it is, as we saw from the storms, to be able to know how to direct funding. And because we only get this chance once every 10 years, it's the most accurate data we can get because it's counting every person, whereas the Virgin Islands Community Survey is a survey. They're doing 5% of the population.
For News 2, this is James Gardner.
Coming up next, a sneak peek at the Miss Universe competition in Thailand through the eyes of our very own Miss Universe USVI when we come back. Welcome back. The Miss Universe 2018 competition is in full swing, and this year Thailand is hosting the annual pageant, and the Virgin Islands is well represented. St. Thomas native Aniska Tung is over there right now representing the territory. News 2 spoke to her this morning, Friday. She gave us some updates on how it's going for her so far in one of the world's most prestigious pageants. Here's Aniska.
My Miss Universe experience thus far has been everything I would ever have imagined it to be. This is something I've been dreaming about for the past couple years, and it is not an experience I take lightly or for granted. As of right now, we actually haven't taken part in any judged portions of competition. Preliminary start in about 3 days, and I'll be competing in evening wear, swimwear, and my absolute favorite, which is interview. I'm also, of course, looking forward to swimsuit. I'm an island girl, so that is my natural disposition, is in a swimsuit. The gown I'm wearing is a gown that was custom made by a local legendary Thai designer, and it's a custom silk tie gown, and all the girls had the opportunity to wear it for our welcome gala, which was also Thai night. To the U.S. Virgin Islanders supporting me, I would simply say thank you. It is no easy feat for any young woman to compete, whether it is at Miss Universe or Miss America or Carnival Queen. So knowing that I have people that support me and love me throughout this experience, and people that are rooting for me, and people that know that I'm here not just for myself, but that I'm here to showcase my country and showcase all of the dynamic aspects of my country, and knowing people that take pride and support that, that's one of the things I'm most grateful for. The last thing I would say is support women. We have so many women from the U.S. Virgin Islands doing so many amazing things. And whether it's in pageantry or politics or starting businesses, we need to have their back.
You can follow Aniska's progress and send her a message of support by going to the Miss Universe USVI Facebook page. Meanwhile, here's another Virgin Islander making waves. You'll remember a few months ago, we featured Peter Bailey, an author and journalist who released the documentary Unbreakable Virgin Islanders. He premiered it here in the territory and then took it on a national tour that's taken the mainland by storm. Now Peter is bringing it back home. Here's more.
It's been an amazing journey. We actually debuted the film on the West Coast at USC's School of Cinema, and as you know, that's the most prestigious film school in America. So it was great. That was the first time a chapter in Virgin Islands history was showcased at the school. And then we went to the East Coast debut at the University of Delaware, and that was packed. I mean, we had Virgin Islanders drive from surrounding areas. We had professors, civic leaders, and they've been particularly interested on our voting rights, you know, that we don't have voting rights. That's something that keeps coming up in each lecture, that we have these Americans in 2018 who still don't have the fundamental right in a democracy. So we're back here at UVI on Friday to screen it, but we're on a nationwide tour. Okay. So we have Brown University, we have the College of Charleston in South Carolina, we have Georgia State University, we have Florida Memorial University, we have the New School in New York City, the famous Chinese Theater on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in Los Angeles, and a lot of film festivals. So it's been amazing.
Meanwhile, Christmas is definitely coming. On St. Croix, the Virgin Islands Council on the Arts partnered with Stanley and the 10 Sleepless Nights to bring together a fundraising event that will maintain the Frederick Dorsch Cultural Center. Here's more.
Hi, I'm Cecilia Couch. I'm the Executive Director for the Council on the Arts, and tonight we're here at Christmas at the Dorsch, which is a fundraiser for the Dorsch Center. We have Stanley and the 10 Sleepless Nights here performing tonight. We're trying to make this event an annual Christmas affair for the Frederickstead and for the Dorsch. The Virgin Islands Council on the Arts, we're the arts agents, the leading arts agency for the Virgin Islands. We give grants and we do great programming, and we have a lot of exciting plans coming up for the Dorsch Center on St. Croix, as well as for our office on St. Thomas. It's awesome! It's an awesome game too!
Hi, I'm Charlene Joseph, and I'm here with Danica David, and we are the author and illustrator of the Vienna Cake Mystery. Yes. And so the book was published in May this year, and we're just happy to bring it to the community. It's a folk tale. It has some of the local animals in it, and of course it has a recipe in it, and it has a glossary in it. And the book was part of the Governor's Reading Challenge this summer. Yes. So we're happy to share it with the community.
Well, Coral World is getting closer and closer to the opening of its much-anticipated dolphin facility, but there is still opposition to the dolphin habitat in Water Bay on St. Thomas. In the next week, we'll provide an update on where the facility is now in terms of construction and permits, as well as listen to the reasons why some residents are strongly against it. Meanwhile, here's a preview with key players discussing the possibility that dolphins might be bred at Coral World.
Moving forward, we're considering our options. Coral World doesn't have all of the necessary permits in order to begin. They still need to acquire their permits in order to import the animals. Our public perception of the opposition to this dolphinarium can sometimes seem like we are, full of opinions with no facts. But in this case, we have lots of facts and a lot of science that backs the reasons why we're opposed to this. In one of their assessments stated that they do intend to breed these animals into captivity, and then from there they'll be able to either sell or lease the animals.
I think we've been accused of, trying to make money. I think we could easily prove that that's not what happens when you breed dolphins, but
it's an activity that dolphins do that they actually enjoy. Unlike, a lot of animals out there, it's just a biological thing. With dolphins, it's actually, psychological, and it's important. So stopping that is actually not a good idea.
Well, across the territory this week, Virgin Islands and American flags were lowered to half-staff as the territory joined in the mourning for the passing of 41st President of the United States, George H.W. Bush. This was in accordance with a federal directive. President Bush died on November 20th at the age of 94. Governor Kenneth Mapp expressed his condolences over the weekend. President Donald Trump also proclaimed December 5th a national day of mourning for the late president. Coming up next, don't miss our Pet of the Week and your News 2 AccuWeather forecast. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Time for our Pet of the Week. This time, it's an adorable pit mix named Mary Lynn. We stopped by the Humane Society to see her, and we weren't disappointed. She was really sweet and calm and very affectionate. And Donna Nemeth, the Director of Operations at Humane Society, can tell you more about her.
This is Mary Lynn. She's about a 3-year-old pit bull. She's got the most amazing intact ears. Look like little antenna there. She came to us as an owner surrender when they couldn't keep her in their home any longer, and she has been showing us how wonderful she is around cats. No interest in them at all. She's great with other dogs, works well on the leash. Very calm, sweet, shy girl. She'll be a great family pet.
Now remember, if you or anyone you know is interested in any of the pets that we feature on Pet of the Week, don't hesitate to call the Humane Society at 775-0599. Visit www.hsstt.com. The Humane Society also offers a free spaying and neutering program where you can take your dog or cat to a vet of your choice with a voucher from the shelter. You can help the Humane Society by fostering or adopting their animals, by donating supplies, or if you're traveling, by volunteering to transport their pets to a mainland home or shelter. Again, that's 775-0599 or www.hsstt.com. Now here's your weather outlook for the next several days with your News 2 AccuWeather forecast.
Good evening. Still a pretty tranquil forecast here across much of the Caribbean. That's because we have an upper level high pressure suppressing any upper level air, upper level moisture, I should say, bringing any stronger storms in towards our region. Now at the lower levels, we do have some clouds, as you can see, pressing through the region, and that's going to be our best chance for some moisture. Trade winds still feeling a bit brisk at times, and we'll see those bringing in the clusters of clouds in towards the leewards as well as into the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico here today. As we continue into your radar, current radar not showing too much activity, just some very scattered showers, and they'll continue to move their way to the west and towards Puerto Rico as we head through the rest of tonight. A shower or two for tonight with a low of 76, and as we head into your Saturday, stray showers going to be likely in St. John with a high of 85. Also looking at stray showers in towards St. Thomas in the mid 80s, and we'll be topping off in the upper 80s in St. Croix with partial sunshine and the possibility for a shower or two throughout this weekend. So overall, not any deep moisture in place. Now, as far as our marine forecasts go, the Atlantic side, as we head closer to the islands, not yet a small craft advisory in place, but into the north and the open waters, there are some cautions and advisories likely. Continue to monitor the marine forecast, especially on the Atlantic side, as swells will be likely to increase. Winds out of the east 15 to 20 knots. We'll also see those winds out of the east 15 to 20 knots on the Caribbean side with waves up to 6 feet, so a bit elevated at times. Once again, pay attention to those flags on the beach as you head out to swim or snorkel, all that fun. You're going to have the weather for it because we're just looking at showers and spots for your Sunday, even into early next week, not looking at any robust moisture to come into play, keeping shower activity very spotty for early next week with temperatures remaining in the mid 80s for your highs.
Thank you for that. There you go. We also update our Facebook page daily with the latest weather updates. When we come back, News 2 Sports with Gary Anthony. Stick around. Welcome back. The 35th annual Turkey Bowl, played the day before Thanksgiving at Lionel Roberts Stadium, was a very entertaining affair, and News 2's Gary Anthony has this report.
The lights shined the brightest for the 35th annual Turkey Bowl the day before Thanksgiving, with youngsters from elementary school through varsity showcasing their talent. In the elementary All-Star game, the green team, made up of players from Saints and Calvary, got 3 rushing touchdowns from Jeffrey Batchelor to beat the pink team, made up of players from Antilles, 20-0. As for the JV All-Star game, the team in light green, made up of players from Cancun, All Saints, and Gift Hill, beat the brown team, made up of players from Antilles and Montessori. This event is the premier fundraiser for the St. Thomas St. John Interscholastic Athletics Association, according to IAA President Mark Daniel.
I believe this is the premier fundraiser for our organization. We are a non-profit organization and we serve all the member schools. We deal with the whole child, so we deal with the athletic and the academic. If your academic is not where you're supposed to be, then you're not supposed to be playing.
There you go, that's Turkey Bowl. And here's more recent sports from Gary.
I'm Gary Anthony, and this is News 2 Sports. Let's go right to basketball. The FIBA 2019 America qualifiers played Monday night at the UVI Sports and Fitness Center. In a nip-and-tuck battle, the VI senior men's team faced 20th-ranked Venezuela and were primed for the upset win before managing to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Under 10 seconds left when Venezuela's Gregory Vargas gets the hoop and the foul. VI still up by 2, and then the unthinkable. Inbounds pass stolen by Pedro Chirrillo. Basket count on the foul. Chirrillo makes the free throw, and Venezuela steals the 77-76 win. Ouch!
Have come to the Virgin Islands.
The Big Island saw the return of a triathlon, the inaugural Beauty and the Beast triathlon, this past Sunday. Over 150 athletes registered for participation, beginning with the first leg of the 70.3 miles. The 1.2-mile swim course beginning from Hotel on the Key. Following the swim was the grueling 56-mile bike ride across St. Croix. All bikers attacked the road with determination, and many had smiles on their faces, even when riding up the beast. The 13.1-mile run from the transition area to the Buccaneer provided the ultimate test of endurance. And in the end, St. Croix resident Stephen Swanton finished first overall with a time of 5 hours, 17 minutes, and 46 seconds. Julie Summer, also a St. Croix resident, took top female honors with a time of 6 hours, 2 minutes, and 18 seconds. For Swanton, this was the second time he has participated in a 70.3 on St. Croix.
It was a tough race. It always is, but extra special. Big thank you to Scott, Teresa, the VI Tri-Board. They put on a great race, and I hope to have many more in the future. Not as fit as I would have liked to have been, but it's a dream come true. There's a couple guys out there that maybe should have won today, but I'm really happy that everything came together.
On to the gridiron, where on Saturday, St. Croix's Educational Complex won the St. Croix football title with a 16-6 win over Central High School. Both defenses played well as they spent a lot of time in their opponent's backfield. The Barracudas' Taj Hector scored 2 touchdowns, the first a 3-yard scamper to give Complex an early lead. With the win, Complex travels to St. Thomas to face the St. Thomas St. John football champion, Ivana Idora Keene High School. Game time is 7 p.m. on Saturday, December 8th at Lionel Roberts Stadium. That's it for sports. Everyone have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you for that, Gary. And that's it for our show tonight. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at News2VI or Instagram at TV2USVI. We want to hear from you, so tag us on any stories you want to see on the news or send us a message on Messenger. You can also email us at newsdirector@tv2.vi. Thanks again for joining us on News2 Week in Review. I'm April Knight. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful weekend.